I wanted to have a conversation today about a mindset makeover. It's important for us to really believe or get to the belief of abundance, right? And believing that it's okay to be successful, it's okay to obtain wealth, it's okay to be doing well in life. Money is fine. There's no issue. There's no problem. There's no negative connotation when it comes to money, right? But it's the love of, right? Because I believe, honestly, money answereth all things, right? Money is the answer to all things. Everything that we need and desire in life can be answered with wealth, right? With riches, with the currency of exchange. Don't pay your bills. Stop paying your bills. Meaning, stop paying off debt. All right. Now let me explain what this means. You're never gonna meet someone who is successful or who we deem as successful, and they tell you that they've never failed at something. It's impossible. Failure is necessary for success to be obtained. Welcome to the new episode of the Miles High Podcast. As always, the vision and goal for this podcast is to entertain, educate, and elevate you miles high above your fears, your doubts, and any limitations that you may think exist. Always knowing that those limitations only exist in your mind. All right. So speaking of mind, I wanted to have a conversation today about a mindset makeover. And in particular, I wanted to talk about a mindset makeover related to wealth or related to finances. We have this term that we've deemed like the poverty mindset, and the definition of it is simply the limited belief and attitude about money, success, and self-worth. Right. And this type of mindset is rooted in fear. It's rooted in scarcity. It's rooted in thinking that there's never enough to go around, and it originates from, or it's shaped by our upbringing. It's shaped by our cultural influence. It's shaped by past experiences with money. It originates from the social norms that we grow up in. It originates from the portrayal within the media. The things that we see on television, the things that we see on social media. I feel like it brainwashes us to a point where we just continue to have this poverty mindset, this mindset of not being enough. And then it just comes from our generational poverty that we've experienced as individuals, as families, right? Our grandparents or our great grandparents experienced a time of slavery, right? When they came up and they weren't considered human beings, right? And then our grandparents, grew up with that same mindset. Our parents kind of grew up in that mindset, and then our generation are trying to get out of that mindset. And I think it's important for us to really believe or get to the belief of abundance, right? And believing that it's okay to be successful, it's okay to obtain wealth, it's okay to be doing well in life, right? And with the poverty mindset, there are these common beliefs that limit the way that we're able to function and limit the way that we're able to move through life, right? And some of them are, you feel like you don't deserve to be wealthy. You also feel like money is the root of all evil. And this one especially, right? Because I think our generation, my generation especially, we grow up thinking or hearing and learning that money is the root of all evil, right? Money is bad. Like, you shouldn't, if you chase money, if you want to be rich, if you want to be wealthy, you could be considered an evil person. But, that verse has always been taken out of context, right? Because the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil, right? So money is fine. There's no issue. There's no problem. There's no negative connotation when it comes to money, right? But it's the love of, right? Because I believe, honestly, money answereth all things, right? Money is the answer to all things. Everything that we need and desire in life can be answered with wealth, right? With riches, with the currency of exchange. But it's when we get to the point where we covet and we love this exchange of currency, or this note that we use to exchange currency, when we love it more than others, when we love it more than serving God the right way, when we love it more than chasing our purpose and doing what we're supposed to be doing on this earth. So money isn't the root of all things. It's the love of money that's the root of all things, right? And then there's this belief where we feel like there's never enough. There's this limited amount of resources, this limited amount of opportunities, this limited amount of success that is out there. And, sometimes we think that it's for a limited few. Sometimes we think that it's for a special segment of the population. Sometimes we even say, man, it's not for me, right? It's not in my family. No one in my family has ever been what I would deem successful. So I'm not going to be successful. And, that's this mindset that I feel like we need to get out of, right? And then there's this comparison mindset, or comparative mindset, where we say, man, I'm never going to be as successful as this person. Or it doesn't make sense that I, try to be successful, or it make sense that I try to obtain a level of wealth, because I'm never going to be as wealthy as this person. And if we keep comparing ourselves to others, we're never going to be satisfied. We're never going to be happy. We're never going to be content with what we have, right? Because we're always looking from the outside and not really looking internally. And like I said in one of my earlier pods, happiness starts within. Everything starts from within us. Everything that we need, everything that we need to change, everything that we need to unlearn, everything that we need to relearn, it's an internal battle that we continuously fight within ourselves. And this poverty mindset, it leads to poor financial decisions, right? It causes us to avoid wanting to make investments. It causes us to overspend, ironically enough, and it causes us not to want to pursue different opportunities that are available, right? Because we think that we're not worthy of, we're not deserving of. It doesn't make sense because we're not going to be as successful as these other individuals that we see on a consistent basis. And I just wanted to have this conversation just to break us out of that mold, out of this thinking, this mindset of I am lesser than, or I am not supposed to be. I feel like my generation is doing and has done a good job of really trying to flip this mindset of poverty, and I truly believe that the generation after us, right, the Gen Zs, they are doing an exceptional job thinking and knowing that, man, I can be successful. I'm supposed to be successful. There's nothing wrong with me wanting to be successful or wanting to be wealthy. Like I say, it's what we do with it, right? It's the mindset that we have of once we obtain it, like, are we going to lose ourselves? Are we not going to stick to and sustain the discipline and the guidance that we've had getting to that point in our lives? And like I said, I think the Gen Zs are doing a good job. My generation, the millennials, we've come a long way, right? We some of us are still stuck in our old ways. But a lot of us are evolving into this mindset of abundance, this mindset of being worthy of. And, I think it's great. And this conversation isn't about money, right? It's not a conversation where I'm saying, we are supposed to be rich, we're supposed to be wealthy, because even, success, I always say that success is relative, right? So what's successful to you may not be successful to me, right? The dollar amount that you have in your mind that you would determine if you feel like you would be successful, may not be the same dollar amount that I have in my mind. And it may not be a dollar amount, right? It may not have anything to do with money. It may have to do with me being able to take care of my family, or me being able to just be content and happy with the control that I have of my time, right? Success is relative. And in the same way, like this mindset shift that I'm trying to get us to, it really has nothing to do with money. It just has it has more to do with understanding the principle of abundance and access, right? You know, we talk about this, or I talk about this kingdom lifestyle and this type of kingdom living that we're supposed to be experiencing on earth. And in the kingdom, you know, we all have commonwealth, and we are all supposed to be wealthy, but we're supposed to be wealthy in our area of gifting. We're supposed to be able to be successful in the things that we are skilled at, the things that that we gravitate towards, that, you know, bring out our true selves, right? Where we're able to live out our purpose within. And to get to this mindset, or to get out of the poverty mindset and get more into the mindset of abundance, I have some keys or some strategies that I just wanted to pinpoint, right, for us to reflect on. The first one is self-awareness. You know, I said earlier, I truly believe that everything that we want to do, everything that we want to change, everything that we want to accomplish in life, it starts with us taking a look at ourselves, taking a look from within. You know, really understanding and identifying the limiting beliefs and their impact that it has on us, right? Because when we're coming from, you know, generational poverty, or this generational mindset of, you know, this I'm not deserving of, or I can't be as successful as, that really has an effect on the decisions that we make and the things that we choose to do in life. So really, you know, being self-reflective, right, and building a self-awareness of, okay, this is the mindset that I have, and this is the mindset that I need to change, and then really figuring out the steps to take in order to shift our mindset from one of poverty to one of more being more abundant. The second is, you know, we adopt the abundance mindset, and I think it's as simple as that, right? We're shifting from the mindset of poverty or lesser than, to knowing that that we need to stop fearing being successful, knowing that it's okay for us to obtain, you know, high levels of success. You know, we look at in our society, and we look at those persons that we would deem successful, right? Who start successful businesses, who are able to obtain a certain level of wealth. And I think we sometimes look at them as out of reach, right? It's impossible for us to do. But when you start like reading different stories of how, you know, this business was started or this individual became successful, you start to see that all of us generally start in the same place. Now, I'm not saying that all of us have the same opportunities or have the same network that a lot of these individuals have, but the place that we start from is a place of not having, right? Not being, like, we don't, a lot of the times, you know, we don't come into the world already successful. You know, if we're blessed enough to have a family or a generational family where we're born into some level of success, that's great, but it's still on us to continue and build on that level of success that has been already achieved. And then there are us who have to be, you know, first time successful individuals, right? And we have to figure it out for ourselves so that we can pull our family along. But I think in the same way, the mindset needs to be the same, man. And it's a mindset of, I have this idea, I have this thought, I have this burning within me that I want to achieve something, I could achieve something. And it's pushing ourselves beyond the limits that we can see with our physical eyes, right? Not believing that there's any ceiling that we can't break through because of this mindset of, you know, we need to stay in our place. So we're not supposed to, you know, do certain things that we see other individuals or other ethnicities doing, because, you know, all of us are well deserving of the success that we're able to achieve. But it starts from within, right? And it starts from obtaining and adapting to a mindset of abundance, right? Success is something that we should not fear. Success is something that we should embrace, right? And understand that there are enough resources and opportunities for all of us, right? There's no limitations. There's no expiration date on the resources that are available, on the opportunities that are out there. And we need to take advantage of each and every resource and each and every opportunity that makes itself available to us. And the third is getting some type of financial education. I did a whole podcast on this, right? And I talked about being financially literate, because a lot of us, we grow up, especially our generation, our especially black people, right? There's no better way to say it. Black people haven't grown up with the knowledge of how to be financially successful, right? How to manage things, how to plan, how to budget. And it's important for us to continue to educate ourselves on everything financial, because it's once we understand the management of money, or once we understand management, right? Whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's whatever it is that we need to do, management is key. And as long as we learn how to manage, firstly ourselves, I feel like everything else that we are given or are able to have access to, we're going to be able to manage well. And as long as we show ourselves as good managers, success is inevitable. And it's important for us to continue to learn and educate ourselves on money management, because my dad had this principle that he taught with when it comes to purpose, right? And it's simply, if you don't know the purpose of a thing, you will abuse it. And in the same light, if you don't understand the purpose of money, if you don't understand how money is supposed to work for us, if you don't understand what we are supposed to do once we obtain wealth, you're gonna abuse it, right? And you're gonna eventually max out and lose it all, because we're not being good stewards of the resources that we've been given. The next strategy is we need to stop seeing failure. And it's as simple as that. Stop seeing everything, or every time we don't achieve the goal that we have set out to achieve. Stop looking at those things as failures. I prefer to just treat them as lessons, right? These are ways that I now know that if I do them, I won't be able to achieve this goal that I set out to achieve. So I'm going to put this method, this strategy to the side. I'm going to start working on a new one, right? Stop looking at failure as failure. We must fail in order to succeed, right? It's inevitable for us to fail. And I always say, this is something that I believe, like, failure is an event. It's not a characteristic, right? So we can never be failures. So even if we fail, it's not us being characterized as failures, right? It's an event. It's an event that's happening. Failure is an event, just like success is an event, right? If we're successful in an endeavor, that's an accomplishment that we achieve. Like, we don't bask and live forever in that success, or we shouldn't bask and live forever in that success, right? And failure is the same way. Like, we don't succeed, or we fail in a particular area of business, of life, whatever it is. You learn from it and you move on. Don't dwell in the failure, because failure is not who we are. It's just something that we experience from time to time. And it's something that we need to experience, right? We must, if you're never going to meet someone who is successful, or who we deem as successful, and they tell you that they've never failed at something. It's impossible. Failure is necessary for success to be obtained. And if you're not failing, you're not pursuing success, because you're not doing anything. So embrace failure, embrace the learning process, embrace the journey of trying to be successful, of trying to obtain, this level of success that we envision for ourselves and for our family. The next one is surround yourself with like-minded people. And this is so important, right? Because you are the company that you keep. My parents used to tell me all the time, like, you're the company that you keep, Charles. So you have to be aware of who it is that you're putting yourself around, or who it is that you have around you. There's this principle that we've learned. I'm sure we all have heard it. Like, you show me your show me your closest friends, and I'm going to show you your future, right? Who we are and who we surround ourselves with, the environment that we place ourselves in, it has a direct effect on the future that we are going to be able to achieve and able to obtain. So, I have had to, you know, change my circles a number of times because, I don't want anyone in my circle who isn't going to speak life into every situation that they're in. Right? We're not going to look at failures as being failures. We're going to look at them as lessons, or look at them as stepping stones to this next level of success that we're trying to achieve. I'm not going to down myself because I lack or I'm weak in a certain area of my life, right? I'm going to speak into that area. I'm going to speak life. I'm going to speak knowledge. I'm going to speak me learning how to better myself, in these different areas. And, that mindset comes from being around individuals that think the same way. So, in the environment that we place ourselves in is super important. And I feel like, the company that we keep should be at the utmost top of our priority list when it comes to the mindset that we want to maintain and want to ensure that those around us are maintaining as well. All right. And then the last one, and this is a principle that my dad taught me. And it's, I see so many individuals, like, I don't know if they hear this principle but just don't believe it, because it's almost something that doesn't seem like the step that we should take, right? But it's simply, don't pay your bills. Stop paying your bills. Meaning stop paying off debt. All right? Now let me explain what this means. I'm not saying to put yourself in a hole and, to just be like, all right, Miles said I don't need to pay my bills, so I'm going to stop paying my bills and just live life. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you come into success, financial success, or you come into some money, the first thing that you should do is not pay. You should not pay off debt. You should not, like, if you have a credit card debt, if you have a mortgage, if you have like these things, these responsibilities that you have, don't throw all of the money, the resources that you have at the debt. Like, manage it and create a budget to where you're able to put some of those funds to take care of the debt that you have and the bills that you have. But a good portion of these resources should go into investments, should go into ideas, should go into trying to build wealth, more wealth for ourselves, right? My dad taught me this principle, especially with, him being the businessman that he was, and, having a number of businesses, and, in some of those businesses being blessed and financially successful in different areas, right? And there would be times where we come into a good amount of revenue, and the decision would be, we would have to make a decision on, what we're going to do. And I, a few times he would ask me, okay, what do you think we should do? And, I would give him, well, we have this bill, we have that bill, we have all these responsibilities that we need to take care of. And he was like, okay, so if we pay all these bills, how much are we going to be left with? And it would always be a small amount of money that we were left with, right? And he is like, are the bills paid? Yes. Are we able to do much or anything with the money that's left over? And the answer will always be like, we could do some stuff, but probably not as much as we would have been able to do, had we used a different strategy. And he was like, exactly. And, he flipped it around. He was like, look, if we pay these bills, because you can manage bills over a long period of time, right? Because some debt is good, right? Debt is something that we can use to leverage ourselves into better opportunities. And, that's one of the principles that he taught me as to why this strategy is key, or could be successful if done properly. So, we divided the resources, the finances that we had. We strategized to putting just enough of the percentage of the resources on our responsibilities, on the bills, on the debt that we had to cover, that would hold us over for a period of time. But we strategize in putting a large bulk of that into investments, dumping that into new ideas that we have to generate revenue. Because, once the money is paid on bills, like the creditors aren't going to say, hey, let me give you this back. You gave us too much money, right? They don't care. They just want their bills paid. But if you take the if you take it on yourself, right, and you say, man, how can I be as resourceful as I can with these funds, and you invest that in some type of investment, or you put that capital into a business idea that you may have, or a business idea that someone else has, that is a great idea. The revenue that you're able to generate from that can then serve as the resources you can use to then pay off your bills, right? Pay off your debt. But the principle here, the key is to don't pay your bills first, right? Don't put all of the money that you get into the debt that you may have. I feel like if we're able to manage that, and this is hard, right? This could be difficult, and it's not as easy as just saying, okay, I'm going to put 20% of these resources on my bills and take this next 80% and find something to do with it. I think it's important for us to speak to financial advisors, to speak to money mentors, and to find individuals who can help us along the way. But it's a principle, it's the mindset that I'm trying to get us to adapt to. And I think once we plant that seed, or once I'm able to plant that seed within you, when you come to that fork in the road where you have to make a decision on, man, am I going to pay off this bill, this debt, or am I going to do something else with this money, right? Something a bit more productive. At least you get to that point. At least you're able to ask yourself, man, what else can I do, or what more can I do? And hopefully you seek some advice, or hopefully you figure out a strategy where you can make a better decision than just throwing the money at debt.
Recommendations for anybody listening, like books, podcasts you recommend?
Man, there's so much. The question was asking, any recommendations for learning, right? For knowledge, whether that's books, whether that's podcasts. Now, I think we live in this world now where there's everything is available to us. Whatever you may want or want to learn or want to understand, you can literally type it in a search, Google search or YouTube, and there's something that's going to come up that's going to teach you how to do it. I mean, even now, you could do it on TikTok, right? You could type into these different platforms, man, how to learn how not to pay my bills first, right? What's a good strategy on bills versus investments? All of these simple things we can use, and these platforms that are available to us where we can advance our knowledge in these different areas. And then there are the good old faithfuls, the books that I've read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the 48 Laws of Power. My dad's book on rediscovering faith is not a financial book, but it really helps us to live in the abundance mindset. You think beyond what you're able to see with your eyes, and I think that's super important when we're talking about adopting an abundance mindset. And then there are a ton of podcasts out there that I listen to that I think is helpful. But just do your research, right? And see what works for you, because what works for me, what I like, where I'm able to learn from, may not be the same platforms or individuals or places that you're able to learn from. But I encourage you to start doing the work yourself. The education of it is important. And I think that's what's going to help us to not only get out of the mindset, but be able to build our courage, build our wealth, as we move forward in this journey. So that's what I wanted to say. I hope that these strategies for adopting more of an abundance mindset and getting out of this poverty mindset has helped you today. So the milestone that I want to leave you with today is, it's not a quote, but it's more so just of a comparison between three types of individuals, right? Poor people, rich people, and wealthy people. Poor people think about money. Rich people think about things. Wealthy people think of ideas, right? Poor people pursue money. Rich people accumulate money. And wealthy people create money. Which one are you? I think all of us have decisions and opportunities to plug ourselves into one of the three categories of being poor, rich, or wealthy. It's important for us to think. We get to a phase where we're always thinking about money. Man, I need to make money to do this and to do that and to pay this and to pay that. But my challenge to you is, let's start advancing through these different levels. If you're at a poor person's mindset, I don't think that's a negative, right? I just think that's where you are at this point. There's no judgment. There's no pointing of fingers. Like it's up to you to want to, get beyond that, and get to a rich person's mindset, and then get more to a wealthier mindset where we're thinking of ideas and we're thinking of money creation. But that's my challenge to you. That's my encouragement to you. Wherever you see yourself in this poor, rich, or wealthy category, let's try to advance ourselves into the mindset and the category of wealth, right? Abundance, because that's where we're able to truly live in our full purpose. All right. So that brings us to the end of this pod. Hopefully this one has been informative and has been encouraging to you, because that's one of the things that I want to continue to do, encourage you, because as always, the vision and goal of this pod is to entertain, educate, and elevate you miles high above your fears, your doubts, and any limitations that you may think exist, always knowing that those limitations only exist in your mind. All right, so until next time, you guys stay blessed.